Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Today's video is one of your guys' favorite to watch, one of my favorite to film. You guys know the drill by now. We do this every single month. This time for the month of October, we are going to be choosing my TBR based off of my TBR jar prompts that I have right here. Like I say in every single video, if you guys have any ideas for prompts to put in my TBR jar, leave them down below. I'm always looking for new ideas. I think I'm gonna refill it soon. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wait until the new year or maybe like December or something. I don't really know yet, but I am running quite low, so I feel like it'll just kind of depend if I run out before the end of the year or not. Off the top of my head, there's not really any new releases that I can think of. I'll probably be forgetting a huge one. I know Nothing Like the Movies is coming out. I thought it was coming out at the end of September. That's what it said on Goodreads, but apparently people are saying it comes out the first week of October. I don't really know yet. So depending on if that comes out or not in September, I will be reading that this month, hopefully. I really want to read Better Than the Movies or reread it before I read that one though, so I'm not really sure when I'm gonna get to Nothing Like the Movies, but hopefully I'll read both in the month of October. We have been getting a lot of news though in the book world, which has been really exciting. I know Abby Jimenez has been talking about her new book that's releasing next April. Same with Emily Henry's. We finally got a title for that, so I'm really excited for all of those new books in the new year. But as of right now, there's not a lot coming out in October that I know of or that I'm like crazy excited about. But if you have any, go ahead and leave them down in the comments down below so we can talk about them down there and I can add them to my radar. If you guys have been keeping up with my channel though, you will know that my wedding is coming up so soon and I am so excited. But with the wedding almost here, afterwards I'm about to have a ton of free time on my hands. And one thing about me is that I love to be productive. I love to use my time wisely and be learning new things, and one of my favorite ways to do that is through Skillshare. And thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by different experts that can help take your career, your hobbies, and your passions to the next level. They have all sorts of different classes, some on building and growing a business, some on film, some on painting, as well as a ton of tips and tricks on how to use great platforms like Notion and Canva, which are really great tools in a lot of different types of careers. One of the current classes that I am taking is their creative writing bootcamp. I'm sure that all of you guys kind of feel like this, but as a frequent reader, I've always kind of thought about being an author or writing my own book someday, and I've really been wanting to give it a shot for a super long time. So this was just kind of like a fun way to get my creative juices flowing. I'm currently halfway through the class and each writing prompt is about 8 minutes long, and they were such easy prompts because they evoked a lot of emotion in me and they were just easier things to write about, and it made me feel kind of empowered in a way that I was starting my writing journey. Though it may be in a small way, it is going to pave the way and be the stepping stones of me getting into writing in the future. One big thing that I feel like you guys always ask me about is content creation, how I got started, what are tips, how to edit videos, all of that kind of stuff. And Skillshare actually offers something really special called the Learning Pathway, specifically on how to grow your first YouTube channel. So you can start from the bottom and work all the way to the top as you progress and go throughout your YouTube career. And the first 500 people who use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you guys can get started today and join me on this learning journey. Thank you so much again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's go ahead and get into the first prompt. The prettiest cover. This is a good one to start out with. I feel like this is a pretty fun one. This book is a newer addition to the TBR. This is called Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. I feel like this cover is absolutely stunning. I also think that One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake is also super stunning. I know, Olivia, you're watching right now and you're literally screaming at me to pick this one. I really want to finish the Shepherd King duology, but I don't think that the cover of this one is like the prettiest, I would say. I mean, it does look cool, but it's not like the prettiest. I know Out on a Limb's cover is really cute. Even though I didn't get the original edition, it's still really cute. What about Curse of the Wolf King? This is like a fairy tale fantasy. This is by Tisania Odette. This one's also really pretty. I feel like we should pick between these three right here. And they're all stunning, obviously, like I just said, but I think I'm gonna pick One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I think this has been on my TBR the longest. I've also never really read an urban fantasy, and I kind of want to read one before I get into the Crescent City series that's down here, just because they are quite a bit different. And this will also be my first ever Olivia Blake book, so I'm really excited about that too. Like I already said, my friend Olivia has been screaming at me to read this book forever, so it's time. I know it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. Oh, and it's in New York. That's kind of fun. And they're witches. Stop it right now. And it's also an urban fantasy, like I already said too. Okay, I think I am gonna enjoy this quite a bit. I think this is gonna be a good first urban fantasy, plus anything set in New York instantly gives me fall vibes, so I feel like it's just the perfect time to read it. On to prompt number 2. Okay, I got Knock 'Em Out. As you guys will have known if you've been watching my TBR videos for a while, I've been doing little prompts of specific books that I've just been putting on or have been on my TBR for a long time. And one of them is finally finishing the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. This is Things We Left Behind. This is the third and final installment. These are small town romances. I enjoyed the first one a lot, and I read the second one I think a few months ago. The second one just wasn't my favorite, and it's really hard for me sometimes whenever I get really excited for a book and I hear a lot of reviews on the book before I read it that just aren't very good, and that's kind of how I felt about this one. These are dual POV small town romances, like I already said, but this one follows Lucian and Sloane, and I was so excited for their book. Sloane is a librarian, and I just really enjoyed her character, and Lucian, I'm pretty sure he's like not in the mob, but what I don't know what it's called. It says he is a lean, mean, vengeance-seeking mogul. So there's that. And not only have I been putting this book off just because I've heard not the best things about it, but also just because look how long this is. A romance book. Let's check the page count. 581. Yeah, so that's quite a bit for a little small town romance. These are always fun though. I feel like sometimes they aren't really my favorite, but they do have like a nice little mystery element in them as well. But a lot of the times when I go to a romance, I just go for a fluffy, fun palette cleanser, and I feel like I would prefer spending my time reading a book that's longer than like 400 pages on a fantasy. But it's on the TBR, so hopefully I like it. I assume I will. I think I'm being a little too harsh. Next up, prompt number 3. Random number generator. For that, I'm just going to count all the books on my TBR, and then we'll count going left to right for whichever number that we get. Okay, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, currently 30 books, so let's just go ahead and ask Siri. I think she can do that. Hey Siri, pick a random number between 1 and 30.
It's 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. This is actually a book that I have borrowed from my friend Jordy. This is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. So hopefully I can finally return this to you, Jordy. So sorry that I still have it. I still have Dance of Thieves by her as well. Or not by her, from her. But I've also been thinking about reading the prequels that come before Dance of Thieves. So let me know if I should read those. I've heard really, really great things about them. And I want to get to Dance of Thieves eventually. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But The Unhoneymooners is basically about like a wedding, and then the bride and groom can't go on their honeymoon. So these two enemies end up going on a honeymoon instead because it's a free trip, so why not? I guess it's not a free trip. Somebody paid for it, but it's a free trip for the people that are going now. The only other book that I've read by them was Love and Other Words, and I didn't like super love that one like everybody else did. I feel like the writing was good in that one though, so I don't know. I'm like excited, but I'm also kind of nervous. A lot of people say that that's like their standout book. There is some text messages in here though, and I love a good text message, and the writing seems kind of bigger than normal and the margins seem huge, so that always makes me want to read a book. Prompt number 4. A fantasy. Easy enough. I feel like we can pick a fantasy. There's a lot on here that I definitely want to read like this fall and winter season, but the first one that comes to mind is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. You guys know I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and this is a YA like almost like fantasy fairy tale series, and I really, really want to read it. It's just 3 books, and my friend Abby flew through the trilogy recently, and she just thought they were so, so good, and I just love Stephanie Garber's writing. It's always got this like more fun, like mystery, whimsical element to it too that I just love, and I never know what's gonna happen next. This is basically kind of about like a carnival that comes to the town, and it's very rare to get in, and these 2 sisters end up going, and then it just kind of goes from there. I feel like a lot of Stephanie Garber's books, it starts with one thing and then it turns into something completely different because like I said, they're very like almost mystery fantasy-esque, which is super fun. So I'm really excited to get into this and dive through the whole series. I feel like I'm going to eat them up. I love a YA fantasy series. I feel like they're always just so fun, so good, and not too much sometimes. Like they don't take themselves too seriously, which I enjoy because sometimes reading adult fantasy can just be kind of a lot to process in more ways than one, which you and me were in sync, so I think you know what I mean by that. Okay, I picked 4 right now. We have 2 fantasy and 2 romance, so we got a good balance. I do want to read at least 1 mystery since it is like the spooky month. I don't have a ton on here, but hopefully we'll get to pick at least 1. Let's go ahead and pick the next prompt. A recent release. I'll be honest, I don't currently have a ton of recent releases on the cart right now. When did Daughter of the Moon Goddess come out? 2022. Okay. When did Out on a Limb come out, actually? July 2023. But the new cover came out actually quite recently. Let me see whenever it came out. I think it got released this past summer. I'll be honest, nothing else on here is even like close to being new that I can read at least. I mean, like Love Redesigned is probably newer than Out on a Limb, but I can't read that yet because I haven't read the final offer yet. So I think I'm just gonna pick Out on a Limb. Okay, sorry if the angle looks just a little bit different. I did have to take a break because my battery died. Like I was saying, I picked Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This is a book with a trope that I am not the biggest fan of, but it can be done right. And and Reckless by Elsie Silver proves that point because I love that book. I love Theo and Winter so much. Their story is incredible. And I've heard that this book also does that trope right as well. I've heard that it's just very real and raw, and I love books like that, obviously. I mean, some of my favorite authors are Emily Henry and Ashley Poston, Abby Jimenez, and that's a lot of what they do. They write about real people experiencing real things in real life, and those are my favorite types of romance books specifically. So I really hope that I'm gonna enjoy this one a lot. A lot of people enjoy this one with similar tastes to me as well, and I feel like this is honestly just the best pick for this prompt because I just don't surprisingly enough, I haven't been book shopping a lot recently, so I don't have a lot of new releases on this list. So I guess this is the newest, I guess, released edition of this book. I know it's a cop-out, okay, just bear with me. I really want to read this, okay? Okay, I just picked our 5th book. You guys know that I normally just pick 6 every month, so let's go ahead and pick our last prompt for our final book. Most colorful cover. I feel like The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez has quite a bit of color on it. I mean, 2 very bright, fun colors. We got a little bit of blue and yellow, also some red. So there's this one. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross is pretty colorful as well. This is a fantasy series. I think it's just a duology, actually. Actually, Daughter of the Moon Goddess is pretty dang colorful, if I ever seen colors before. This cover is so stunning. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is just a part of a duology series. I mean, the cover is stunning. I don't really know too much about it. I've just heard like good things, and I've seen it on Goodreads quite a few times. And this is by Sulin Tan. So this is a fantasy, so there's definitely magic. And I guess our main character has been exiled. And it's a romantasy, because it says it's an enchanting romantic duology. You know I'm gonna eat that up. I love a good romantasy. And it's also her debut novel, so I'm really excited to read this. And again, the colorful is not only the colorful, okay, I really can't speak, thank God this is our last book, because where did my speaking abilities go? Like I was saying though, not only is the cover colorful, it is also just stunning. So I'm really excited to read this. This is also one of the newest books that I just added to my TBR. Shout out Olivia again for buying this for me. You're a sweetheart. Okay, we picked all 6 books. Let's go ahead and do a little recap of all 6 of them. The first prompt I picked was the prettiest cover, and I chose One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Next up, I chose a prompt that was just a specific book, and it's Knock 'Em Out. So we're reading the final book in the Knock 'Em Out trilogy, which is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. And then I got Random Number Generator chooses my book, and the random number generator chose The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And then I picked a prompt that just said fantasy, so I chose Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Then I picked out a recent release, and I chose Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I know I'm aware that this doesn't fit the prompt perfectly, but technically in my head it does. So that's all that matters. And I just really want to read it. So that is also all that matters. And then our final prompt was most colorful cover, and I chose Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin Tan. I'm so excited to read this one. This is our final TBR for the month of October. I am so excited. We have quite a bit of range on here, which is good. And hopefully this will be the month that I finally finish my TBR. That is the goal for obviously every month. But by the end of the year, I absolutely need to finish at least 1 monthly TBR. And I feel like this could be the month. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on these books, if you've read them, if you're excited to read them, if you want to see any of them specifically in reading vlogs down below in the comments. And if you've watched until this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below the jar emoji so I know who the real ones are who stayed till the very end. And if you want to keep up with me on the daily, go ahead and follow my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Goodreads especially if you want to keep up with what I'm reading in real time. Those are always linked down below. And yeah, I think that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and I will see you guys all in my next one. I love you so much, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. And yeah, bye guys. And this is my okay.